Hey there, welcome to the video. Now, if you've been thinking about jumping into Amazon KDP to create some passive income, then today's video is definitely for you. We're gonna dive deep into an exciting niche that's been flying a little bit under the radar, but has huge potential, and that would be the stained glass coloring book niche. Now, I know you've probably heard a lot about coloring books on KDP, and the stained glass niche is one of the many types of coloring books that does very well on Amazon. In fact, one seller is making $1,558 per month from just one book in this niche. That's nearly $19,000 in a single year. Now think about the potential if they made a series for this book, how much more could they make? So if you're looking for a profitable niche with high demand, but relatively low competition, then this video is for you. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Jeff, and this channel is all about becoming self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. So if this sounds interesting to you, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get started. Now, it's not just one book that's seeing success in this niche. There are several books pulling in solid, steady monthly royalties. What's even more exciting is that this is a low content niche, meaning that you don't need hundreds of pages filled with thousands of words. All you need are simple designs to succeed. Now, you might be thinking, if these books are doing so well, then why aren't more people making them? And that's the beauty of this niche. It's still relatively untapped. While there are many coloring book niches on Amazon that's been saturated, the stained glass coloring book niche hasn't been flooded yet with competition. This gives you a better chance at standing out, especially if you target the right keywords. So why is now the perfect time to get into this niche? Well, anytime is really the perfect time for this type of coloring book because it's what we call in an evergreen niche, which means that it sells all year round. But especially because we're into Q4, this is the best time of the year for Amazon KDP publishers. Sales skyrocket because people are looking for gifts, and coloring books do very well this time of year as a perfect holiday purchase. Now, if we go to Amazon and we make a search for stained glass coloring book, we're gonna see all these books here, different types of genres, different types of themes. But one thing that I see is I see a lot of rankings here that are pretty low. And so the way that the BSR works, or the bestsellers rank on Amazon works, is the lower the better. So the closer you are to that #1 ranking, the better your book is selling. And I'm seeing a lot of books here that are ranking very, very well. And on top of that, I see right here the niche score of 62. So if you know, with my videos, I always look for a niche score of at least 50. And the way that I get this niche score is from this Titans Quick View extension, which is free to use. So if you want to head over to the Chrome web store, make a search for self-publishing Titans, you're going to find these two extensions. I have both of them installed, but this is the one I'm referring to, Titans Quick View. If you go ahead and install this, you're going to get all these tools to be able to use. So there is this BSR graph. You also have this purple bar on the screen, and you're also going to get this box right here that gives you some quick information on the book. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the purple bar right here, and it's going to give you a lot of information actually. So if you notice with Amazon, it says over 1,000 results. It's not very specific. But on Titans Quick View, it tells you the total exact results, 1,176. It gives you even more information, the bestsellers ranks, the lows and the highs, the average reviews, and the average price. Along with that, it'll also tell you how many books are independently published, which means how many books are KDP books, which means how many competitors there are in this niche, or at least that are showing up for this keyword right here. Now, one of the biggest things with seeing how profitable a niche can be is looking at the search results. And right here, I see 1,176. So if you know, with my videos, I only look for search results that have about 1,000 or less, mainly because when you get to the 2,000 and above range, the competition is just that much harder. There's just going to be way too many people publishing books in a certain niche. And so I don't really look to get into a niche that has, let's say, 2,000 results and above. But because the total results is 1,176, that's actually not that bad, which means that I can have a better chance at getting my book ranked on the first page of Amazon so that more people can see it and hopefully buy it, and so I can make more sales. If we look at this first book that shows up on position 1 or rank 1 of this page, we can see this is the exact book we're talking about, the stained glass coloring book. And the biggest thing that I look at is under publisher, that it's independently published, which tells me that this is a KDP book. And that's very important because if you, for example, hover over the one right next to it, it doesn't say independently published. So this is from a different publisher. And the thing is, we don't have access as KDP publishers to what some of these publishers have access to. That's why I don't really look at these books when I'm looking at the potential profitability of a niche. I really just stick to KDP books. Now, with a bestsellers rank of 41,000, that's actually very, very good. I always look for 300,000 or less, and I look for multiple books. Actually, I look for 3 or more books that are all ranking in that range. And so this book right here, when I hover over it, independently published with a bestsellers rank of 61,000. So this is another book that is doing well. However, if you notice with the images, there could be some potential issues here with trademarks. So I would definitely stay away from these types of coloring images. And so you really want to do your research when it comes to trademarks to make sure that you're not putting something in your book that is going against a certain trademark or a certain copyright. This book right here, independently published, has a BSR of 450,000. So that's a little bit higher than the 300,000 that I'm looking for. But I mean, it's still selling. It's selling about 1 book every other day, which is still decent. But for me, I really look for 300,000 or below as the bare minimum. This book right here, independently published, has a bestsellers rank of 10,497. This book is selling very, very well. And if you notice with the reviews, 4.9 out of 5. So this has a near 5-star rating. So whatever this book is doing, it's doing very, very well, and it's doing it the right way. We have this one, which is a Christmas themed. It's ranking it at 219,000. So it's selling pretty well. And this is going to sell even better as it gets closer to Christmas time. We have this book right here, just above the 300,000, 359,000, 271,000, 396,000, 126,000, 34,000, 78,000, 207,000. So we see there's a lot of books here doing very, very well. And so I know because the niche score is 62, total results is 1,176, meaning there's not a lot of competition in this niche. And judging by all the books that are doing very well, well, I know that there's potential for profits in this niche. This is my exact same process that I do when I'm looking to get into a niche. I have not changed it in the last 5 years. And this is what still does well for me to this day. Now, if we take a look at this book, this is the one that has the 4.9 out of 5 rating. We can see 10,000 BSR sells very, very well. It was just released this year, and it's your typical price point of $7 to $8 on a coloring book. This one is 94 pages. So I would assume about 40, which is right here, 40 hand-drawn stained glass animal designs. And before we look at the sample, I always like to look at this graph right here, which tells me the historical BSR of the book. And so since this was just recent, I mean, we're only going to see data from the last 90 days. And from when it was published, you can see pretty much right away, it started to sell very, very well. And as you can see, it's just maintained this ranking for almost 2 months now. Now, taking a peek at the sample, so here's your cover, and then let's look at some of the interiors to see what kind of book this is. Obviously, the sample portion on Amazon has limitations. It actually doesn't show anything of the coloring page in the interior, but that is why on the back cover, publishers tend to put some of their images for the customers to see. So we have 4 pages here. We can kind of get an understanding of what type of coloring images they produce. So if we wanted to get into this niche, we would have some idea and some inspiration on how to create our own book. Now, if I scroll down here, this is the A+ content section of the listing. So this is where the publisher can put even more information regarding their book. They can decide to add more interior pages for the customers to see, get more of an insight to the book, having that much more information is really going to help them with their purchasing decision. Now, when I enter the BSR into Bookbird's KDP book sales calculator, we can see that it sells about 24 copies a day, which is about 720 books per month. And if we add that royalty calculator at 94 pages and $7.19, we can see that's about $51 a day and $1,558 per month. Now, one of the things that you want to do when you're getting into a niche is to look at the reviews. I know not a lot of people actually talk about this, but if you go into the reviews, you can really see where this book is doing well and potentially where it is struggling. And that's where you can actually swoop in and do better than this book. But because this book is a near 5-star, we're really only going to see a lot of good reviews here. So right here, AI says customers find the images exquisite and distinctive. So if we look at the actual pictures, we can see the actual interior of the book. So here's one page right there. And here's the cover. There's another page, and another page. And these reviews aren't really going to tell us that much. But if we come back to this book right here with these kind of questionable images, well, we can see that it has a 3.1 out of 5 review, 6 ratings, and you can see just how spread out it is right here. And so if we go into the ratings, hopefully there's some actual written reviews, and really there's just one. But this one says the book has cute pictures, but the downside is that the images were blurry. And this is a big issue with KDP publishers when they're trying to put together their coloring image, is that a lot of the times they come out blurry. So that's something that you want to take into consideration when you're creating your coloring book, is you want to make sure the images are crisp and clear and the highest quality that you can possibly have. Now, if you take a look at this book right here, at a glance, I like what I see. I really like this cover, and I think it has all of the elements to be successful. I mean, I see a book ranking of 450,000, and then I look at this graph to see how well it's been doing for the past year. And as you can see, it started out pretty strong, but it's starting to have trouble now. And what I see is when I go here to the reviews, we can see that there are some 2 stars here. And the review says that there's lots of the same pictures that are being used over and over. And if I go to the 1 star, this one says product is a coloring book and advertised as does not bleed through, but it does. Very cheap paper used for this book. Now, this is something that we don't have control over because Amazon is really the one that's choosing the type of paper that's being used. So just keep that in mind when you read these types of reviews. Now, here's a 3-star review. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more than one stained glass window after the other. They are pretty designs, but it's always a window, always with mountains, always with water, always with sun. You almost get an idea of how to actually create this coloring book that would appeal to this type of buyer. If we take a look at this book right here, it has a 219 sales rank, which is decent. That's selling about a book or 2 per day. And if we look at the back cover or just read the sample, we can see this is the type of interior it has. It's a very simple type of interior. I would say that this is more for kids, not really for adults, as it says right here. Another thing that I see is 4.0 out of 5. So I really like to go through the reviews and look at what it says. So this one says cute, but not worth the price. So at $9.99, this is not worth the price. It's cute, but it's not worth it. And let's go to the 1 star to see if there's anything written. There's nothing written. And so if you noticed, the price actually changed to $7.99. And for me to verify that, I want to actually go through here, go all time. And we can see that, in fact, it was when it was published $9.99. And right away, it started to do pretty well. But I guess because of the price or whatever reason, and maybe because it's not Christmas time, you can see that they changed the price to $7.99. The sales are starting to do better right here. So I'm going to continue to track this book to see how well it does in the next coming weeks. So hopefully you can see the potential of the stained glass coloring book niche. I'm seeing a lot of books that are doing well, but I also see a lot of space for improvement. And if you haven't watched my previous video, you know I used AI to create coloring pages. So if you want me to do the exact same thing for this book, for this niche, let me know down below and I'll make a video on that. If you want more KDP resources like interiors, keywords, and more, check the links down below. And if you have any questions, also let me know down below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, as well as follow me on all my socials at JeffSetLife. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.